Hey guys, Craggy here again. I'm doing another DC Universe superheroes set for Lego DC superheroes. Sorry. Um, this one's called Darkseid Invasion. So here's the man himself, Darkseid. Big fig, makes sense I suppose. He's always depicted as a fairly large character. I assume this is the new 52 design for him because it's not one that I know. It looks pretty cool. Lovely print on the front of him. Head's really cool. Um, Colours are not bad. I like the blue and the black, the light blue. And Big Fig, he's got movable arms and movable wrists. So that's him. But he also comes with a little flying doodad. You can peg him onto the base of this thing and it'll flop about. And if you've got him holding on to the control panels or the control sticks, then what it'll do is it'll fall when you're moving it, and you'll lose one of these bits, which is fun. He also doesn't peg on here very well at all. But yeah, this is because of the super jumper gimmick. You're supposed to be able to knock him off by pinging a guy on one of them little super jumpers, and it just makes it a floppy mess. It's quite horrible. I really don't like it. I would have just preferred that they'd give me a normal base and a bit that didn't fly about everywhere. But other than that, I mean, it's quite a cool design. It's very New Gods-ish. You've got a sticker on the fucking hell. I'm taking him off because he's just annoying me now. Yeah, he's got a nice design. He's got a sticker on the front. It's quite cool. There's stickers on these bits on the sides, which you can't see. Is it this? This is also a missile. It pings out. There's other red balls included. There's like two or three. Um, yeah, this whole thing is just a pain in the arse. It's quite fun to build, but other than that, I mean, if you can get him sitting on it and he stays on it, it looks okay. But it's just a big mobility scooter. There's absolutely no need for it. It's totally pointless. There it is. Right, found that at least. Okay, so that's Darkseid, and he's invading on his shop mobility scooter. What's he invading, or who's he invading, and what's happening? Why is it DC superheroes when there's none? Well, you get this big mother. If you've watched the Justice League cartoon or read probably any of the comics recently, um, they use the spaceships called the Javelins, and it's amazing. I'm not usually one for big, ginormous vehicles, but yeah, this is pretty awesome. Um, it's really fun to build as well. Like I was doing the front bit here, and I didn't actually know what I was doing. I built one side, and it had a hinge on it, and I was like, why is there a hinge? What opens? And then eventually I figured out, oh, it's because you build the two outsides, and then other stuff happens. It's very cool. So you've got your spaceship. This is it in landing mode. There is a little compartment that opens out the front, and there's little bombs that pop out of it. They're just bombs, they don't do anything. And there's two flick fire missiles on the sides. So there's a little plunger, right, little plunger here. You press that, and the missile pops out. And then you just get the missile recovered, and you just peg it back in. And then you want to take off. You're going to go into flight mode. There's a little lever down the bottom. And it flaps it up and down, flaps the wings up and down. And really lovely wings. There's not a whole lot to them, but the build's quite fun, just because you're just piling on loads of little studs. So you've got that clear see-through stuff, and you've got it on the other side and the inside of the wings as well. You can see in here. And you've got your engines at the back, which are nice and fiery looking, I suppose. Maybe like ion thrusters or whatever. At the bottom you've got a load of those engines as well, a load of thruster bits, which is pretty nice. There's not a whole lot else going on in the bottom, which is cool. There's not like a load of mess. You've got nice design wings. You've got stickers here, and then there's a sticker up the top here as well. And you can see your cockpit. You've got windows at the sides. Looks a little bit like a cruise ship on the top there, I've got to admit. Even little blue lights on the front here, and little blue lights on the back here. There's a lot nice detail going on. Now there's another gimmick feature here. If you press down, if you have it closed properly, and then you press down on this, this pops open. So this is your main sort of cargo hold bit, and there's a button here that does press down a little thing inside. I don't know if you can see it, a little yellow thing. Presses down. What happens is you're meant to put a guy on a super jumper and put him inside there and pop it, and it does fire him out in theory into the wilderness. Now there's two little seats in there, so let's have a look at some of the guys and who can sit in there. Okay, so let's do these two. Okay, so Superman, he's just Superman. He's got his red pants, and he has two different faces. He has normal face, and he has a slightly cheerier face, I suppose. He's got like a Superman smirk. So let's put him in, because he's actually the one you're supposed to put on the super jumper and sit in there, but I'm not going to do that. Now the other one you get, well, another one that you get, it's not the only one, is Cyborg from Teen Titans, who's been shoehorned into the Justice League a few times. I don't like him as a Justice Leaguer, but he's quite fun, quite integral to the games, or the new game anyway. He does a lot. He's one of them. He's like Batman in the new game, in as much as he's got all these different gimmicks that he can use. And you can take his head off, and he's got normal face, well, kind of gurning face, kind of angry face, and then he's got a smiley face. And then all his cyborgy bits and his hair are all built into the helmet, which is quite cool. It's a nice helmet. It's got a little print, and a lot of details actually going through it. The print on his body is really like overly complicated, but it's nice, and he's got printing right down on his legs to his feet. So yeah, you got a lot of detail on this guy. Comes with just a standard stud shooter. You could probably do some things with him to make him more like one of the guys, or one of the suits that he has in the game. And just pegs in there. So we've got two guys sitting in there. You can't see them because my camera is being stupid. Yeah, well, they're in there anyway. You're gonna just have to believe me. And the lid closes just with like that one little stud there. And it's fairly secure. So those guys are in there, and the cockpit obviously opens, and you can see, as well as all the little lights, there's stickers for the control panels round the sides and at the front, which is really nice. And we have two guys that can go in there as well. So we've got Hawkman. I mentioned in the Lego Batman, well, the Green Lantern Lego, that you can get these guys with two sets of wings. So I've still got Hawkman's out because I just built this set yesterday. One set of open wings, one set of closed wings, and they just peg on the back. Just with a little couple of studs that go over a clear piece. They're just thin plastic wings. And Hawkman's got his mace in case he gets assaulted on the way home from the shops at night. And he has print on his legs and on his torso. The torso print's really cool actually. Um, it does go around to the back as well. I'm not going to show you that because I'll need to take the wings off. But he does have two faces. He's got a shouty face and a frowny face. And his helmet's really quite nice as well. Now, like I say, you can fit him in. You can actually, because they're so thin, you could fold the wings up and sit him in. I'm just gonna peg him on the side of the wing there. But something that is gonna go in the cockpit is an arrow, green arrow. I haven't even looked to see if it tells me if he's called Arrow or just like Green Arrow or just Arrow, because he is looking quite a bit like the TV version here. He has green eyes, which is a bit unusual for a Lego minifigure. Especially a superhero one where he's got a mask on. Maybe like a night vision thing. And he has two faces. He has a you failed this city face, and he has a oh no, I'm going to have to do this thing face. And he has a hood, which is kind of a rubbery plastic, and it just pegs over his shoulders. You could go and get a Lego hood that's up, and you could take his hair off and put it on, which I might well do. Next time I'm at a Lego shop, I'm going to see if there's a green hood in the Build-A-Fig parts. And he has his bow and arrow, which is just one piece, and it doesn't fit in the hands particularly nice to make it look like he's actually firing the bow and arrow. But yeah, that's okay. Not much going on the legs, but there's a lot of print on the torso. He's a little G belt buckle. One thing I noticed actually about Cyborg, he does have a little stylized C on his chest, which is quite cool. I didn't see that when I was first looking at them. And if you look in the side of the cockpit, you can actually see him just sitting in there, which is cool. I noticed that when I put Flash in there the other day, a Flash from their set. You can see the guys through the windows just about. Obviously you can see him through the top. But so this is really cool. This is not, I mean, there's this and the Ultra Agents HQ are the two sort of biggest sets that I've bought and built up. The Lego Javelin, I would say, is not worth as much. They're both the same price. I've got both of them on sale for about 50 quid. It's about 70 or 80 is the real price. I wouldn't say this set's worth like 70 or 80 quid. Your Darkseid's cool. His scooter is hellish. If you get the four Justice Leaguers, I mean that's quite cool. You Superman is pretty standard, but the other three are all, as far as I know, pretty new to this set. Well, new to this set or exclusive to this set. So that's a good thing, I suppose. If you like the figures and you were gonna spend 20 quid on a custom figure for each one, yeah, okay, fair enough. But I don't really know that I wouldn't say that it's worth it that much. For 50 quid, I thought, yeah, okay, because it gets me a bunch of 7th guys for Justice League teams. You get all the main ones in cheaper sets, but you get the extra guys to add in. And the Javelin itself is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie that the Javelin is awesome, but although I've pointed out a lot of features on it there, it's not as much as the Ultra Agents HQ. The Ultra Agents HQ is a big truck and it's got so much going on with it. It would have been nice to see maybe a little escape pod or like a little fighter that comes out of the Javelin, maybe something that one of the guys that's in it can use to go into space. Because right now, okay, Hawkman and Superman can fly, but you've basically got Cyborg and Green Arrow just sitting in the ship doing not an awful lot. One can fly it, One, I suppose you could say, is using the missiles and stuff, but it's a bit of a poor, if you ask me, to incorporate some of the gimmicks. And Darkseid, he's a cool design, but in the comics, I don't know that he really lends himself to like an action line like this. I know you sometimes get him punching a guy, um, but that's not really his thing. He tends to be more of a general, sending guys out to do his bidding. If any fool tries to mess with him, he just gives them Omega Beams. Would have been nice to see Omega Beams in this set actually, just as like just a red clear piece that you could maybe clip onto the head of the minifigure, or even just something that come out of the vehicle. Something like that would have been cool. Because that's the main thing I think about when I think about Darkseid, is someone try to dodge the Omega Beams and usually failing. Actually, not usually, because he's usually fighting Superman or Batman. But hey, it's a good set. You get a lot of nice figures. The figures in it are nice, but considering Darkseid's things a bit poo, and the Javelin is really nice and a fun build. It's one of the probably the best Lego build that I've done. Um, just because of all the stuff, the way it all fits together, and that is really good. I feel like I got my money's worth at getting it at £50. I think the full price you might be a little bit disappointed. I would see if you can get it. You can get it on sale now. Um, if it goes any cheaper than 50, definitely pick it up. But I would say more than that, you'd have to think about how much you like what you're getting. It's not one just to buy. I would say for just the figures. Um, see that everything that you're getting is stuff that you're wanting. Okay, hope that helps. Bye.